Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm going to talk to you today about cyberbullying, or my position on cyberbullying, because it's changed dramatically in the last couple of weeks. And I decided to make this video, and I'm going to talk to you about it. Hope you listen. Cyberbullying, it keeps being thrown around a lot. I see it thrown around in some of the big huge YouTubers, like YouTube royalty even. And it's supposed to be a huge problem on YouTube. And while cyberbullying is unacceptable, I don't see it always being used in the sense that you would think it would be used. These sort of unwarranted attack or picking on somebody that didn't ask for it or encourage it in any manner just for the kicks of the bulliers. I'm seeing it used in such a manner where it's sort of being used as a way to police or censor certain individuals on YouTube, where the accuser himself doesn't necessarily like the content that they're making, and there's not always a clear-cut case that it's cyberbullying. And sometimes it's being used to combat divergent opinions and divergent politics, which basically cyberbullying is being used sort of like political correctness is now. It's used to silence people. And unfortunately, I had to take a good hard look at myself and come to the conclusion that I joined this witch hunt recently with my situation with TommyNC. And looking back, I'm sort of ashamed of my decisions because I stand for free speech. Absolutely. 100%. And I do not want to contribute to less free speech on YouTube, and even in the smallest way, because this channel's tiny. I don't want to be a part of it. Now, let me explain to you what I did. I have a friend, TommyNC2010, and he was just a part of our little community for a long time. And we've dealt with his bullies. His bullies then were subs with maybe 3, 4, just under 100 or over 100 in the past. And I think myself, Dead on Dave, and even Joe Cronin, to some extent, dealt with these bullies in 2013 and 14 very well. And I'm proud of the way we handled that. But something changed in February of this year. It was either late January or early February. Official Duck Studios is a large YouTuber, I think 400,000 or 500,000 subs at the time. Maybe he's around there now. Decided to make sort of a roast video of Tommy. And, of course, it wasn't deserved. He didn't ask for it, anything of that nature. What can we do? We're a tiny little YouTube group. These guys have huge followings. And I was actually talked out of making some kind of response video, and I was told that it really probably affect Tommy even more negatively than he was being affected already by this ODS video, and that I might only be seen as someone who is sort of trying to get involved, sort of white knight my way through the situation. And I agree with that, but I made the decision right there and then that I was going to copy that video immediately for a rainy day, because I was furious. I was angry and I wasn't thinking clearly. And lo and behold, within a month or two, Leafy's here makes a video similar, almost a direct rip-off of ODS. Its format's identical, just a different set of jokes or attacks, whatever you want to call them. And a YouTuber by the name of H3. H3 pointed out that Tommy was autistic, that this was bullying, and it was. This is the clearest example of bullying. And there was a backlash. The community dealt with it. Tommy was rewarded with over 100,000 subs, YouTube plaque. He got to meet a lot of new people. I even got to meet some great YouTubers. Omar Gosh is somebody I have a great deal of respect for after this whole situation is over. What a great guy he is. Tons of support, and the guilty were punished. But that wasn't enough for me. I decided to mirror the entire video, mostly because when I went to go look for it on ODS's website, it was gone. And then I went to his Twitter account, and there was no mention of it whatsoever, nothing in his feed whatsoever. And that really made me nuts because, Leafy was taking all this heat, and he essentially took the idea from somebody else to make fun of Tommy. And I thought, why doesn't ODS share in this little, let him get in this little love fest. And I mirrored the video, and that wasn't even enough for me. I took the next step, and I said that if I found out about any jobs that he's getting or if he moves up in the entertainment world, I was going to send it to their boss. And I sort of got caught up in this sort of witch hunt mentality. Why? Because I was fucking furious, and I was fucking sick of it. Tommy's channel before... I knew what Tommy's channel was like before it is now. It was a parade of hate for someone who didn't ask for it. Not one bit. And for these big, it is one thing with these little guys that we could handle, these jerks. But now we have serious YouTubers, guys that are in business, in the YouTube business, attacking this disabled man for profit. And when they were put on coals, their apologies were weak. One guy couldn't look at the camera. The other guy just thanked his fans. So I was like, oh, no. No, there wasn't enough pain to go around. So I decided to mirror the video. I got the reaction that I wanted. And I got to attack their toxic fan bases personally. They could see me when those videos come on, insulting them. And the situation sort of even got bigger after that. Tommy, as it was reported in North Carolina news outlets, he was swatted. And then the news reports started coming on broadcast news. And I started seeing the word cyberbullying thrown around, which in Tommy's case I think was legitimate. But then I saw the broadcast, it said something along the line that Leafy had ordered a sort of attack on Tommy, and potentially maybe he even went as far, or they suggested that the swatting incident was the swatting incident itself was sort of encouraged by Leafy, and is horrible a person as I think this guy is, and a self-centered, Justin Bieber lookalike that he is. That wasn't true. And all it really seemed to do is sort of stoke the anger above proportions that I think was necessary. Tommy was rewarded, they were punished, end story. And that was it. When you give these news broadcasts, I think we're inviting a slippery slope for potential legislation, which I don't want in YouTube, and I don't want to be a part of that. For the word cyberbullying being thrown around just to shut down somebody's YouTube channel that just has a divergent politics, divergent opinion, or maybe has content that the person that's making that accusation doesn't like. In other words, cyberbullying is now the weapon. And Tommy is being used. I got caught up in that because my own personal anger and how I fear or how I feel about this man, and I love him a whole bunch. That's why I overreacted. I don't think asking for somebody's job for this, as horrible as this was, I think I made the mistake of taking it to that next level, and I did it because I was furious. Now, I'm not sorry because my victims aren't terribly sorry. They care less. But I don't want to be a part of people using this situation, using Tommy, to further their cyberbully political agenda. I don't want cyberbullying to be bastardized in a weapon, in sort of a weapon form, to silence people. The dirty truth of it is this. While it's 150% wrong to attack a disabled man under any circumstances, and even if they have a YouTube channel, from a legal perspective, it's okay. And it's really up to the audience to decide whether they can tolerate that stuff or not. From a moral perspective, it's outrageous. And it shows serious character flaws for the type of people that would engage in something like that. But I'm not ready to take their channels away, and I'm not ready to have them lose their jobs. And I'm certainly not going to contribute to a lack of free speech on YouTube. I'm not going to contribute to the government getting involved and saying, this is cyberbullying, this is not cyberbullying, that's cyberbullying, that's not. No, I'm sorry. I like the way the community reacted and rewarded Tommy. But even that, in some sense, was using Tommy. At first, I was really thankful that H3H3, with this big, powerful YouTuber that he is, over 1 million subs, brought attention to Tommy's plight and the years of bullying that went on, legitimate bullying. But it turned out that H3H3 really may have had his own selfish interest, that Leafy is here was a competitor, and this was the way to compete with him. Therefore, H3H3 doesn't care about Tommy. H3H3 always seems to be promoting himself as some sort of, prior to this point, as some kind of cop or YouTube cop or content cop, and pointing out what's good and what's proper and what's not. What is this? A church? Sewing circle? Old bitty ladies? No. I won't be a part of that. It's just simply not happening. Now, I'm glad that he pointed it out. I'm glad Tommy rewarded. None of this happens without H3H3, but I don't believe that he gave a damn. Never mentioned ODS. I think this had more to do with competition with Leafy. And that's unfortunate, because Tommy's worth sticking up for. I've done it before this, and I will do it after this. But maybe not quite in this way. There's a little too many YouTube cops out there right now that I find a little bit more than disturbing. And it's not always about helping people. It's about destroying people that they don't like. There's a lot of YouTube channels I don't like. A lot of people I don't like in YouTube. There's a lot of stuff that that's just garbage. But unless it breaks YouTube's terms of agreement, it stays. It's up to the community to decide what's good and what's bad, and how they want to treat it. If they want to unsub, if they want to make videos, if they want to come back or make drama. What was that? That whole crap last week? YouTube has too much drama. More content policing. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to defend my friends, but I don't want to turn it into a three-ring circus. And I am responsible for being a small part of turning this situation into a three-ring circus. And it stops today. Absolutely 100% it stops today. I will be taking those videos down, and I will be taking all the revenue I made, and I'll be putting it in Tommy's PayPal. The money was made off of Tommy's misery. I suggest that ODS and Leafy do the same thing, but judging by their apologies or lack of apologies, I don't think they have that kind of character. You know, they got a couple 100,000 hits, so it's a couple $100. I mean, I made $20 in the whole thing. I haven't even checked off that at all up after I removed the videos. So that's my concern. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want cyberbullying used as a weapon. I don't want these church ladies of YouTube running around telling everybody what's good and what's bad and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. I understand that YouTube's system isn't perfect, and sometimes people get away with stuff. They directly violate YouTube's terms of agreement. It's pointed out, and they don't do anything. And then some guy that's following the rules gets a strike on his channel. I get that. That sucks. No doubt about it. But, you know, that doesn't excuse you for policing something or being some kind of white knight hero for the reasons not that you're giving, but rather to take somebody down you don't like. I am shocked to this day that Leafy and ODS were giving praise for the bravery of their apologies, which weren't brave at all. One guy didn't use a camera. The other guy thanked his fans. And then I look at a situation like Keemstar, where he did something horrible, or his news team did something horrible, and pointed out somebody who was on Twitch who was supposedly a pedophile. Turned out they weren't. I go to Keemstar's apology. He's like, I'm going to get money. I'm apologizing right now. This was wrong, and somebody got fired. He's got more dislikes on that video than likes. He did exactly what you're supposed to do when you apologize. Money, consequences, won't happen again. That's it. The other one says, thank you very much, fans. I didn't know. I'm sorry. What's his name? Tosh.0 did it too when he didn't. They got praised. And Keemstar, money, somebody got fired. Won't happen again. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. That really ticks me off, the whole apology thing. But just make it clear, I'm not taking down these videos because apologizing. I don't want to be a part of censorship on YouTube. And this argument, well, YouTube is not the United States of America. YouTube does not have to push a environment that is similar to the First Amendment. Yeah, I know that. Totally agree. But they should have those principles installed. Yes, you can go out and make fun of Tommy. And I can make a video and tell you what a jerk off you are. But I don't know if I have the right to censor you. I don't know if I should be going to your boss. I don't think I should be doxing you. I think that's going a little too far. And from this point on, it's over. I won't be a part of it. I'm no YouTube cop. And a lot of the cops out there, they got their own agenda.